Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe vom SC-Talk und es ist mir eine besondere Ehre, heute Garth Braun von Blackbird Energy da zu haben. Sie wissen, Blackbird ist eigentlich die größte Erfolgsstory, die wir jetzt in den letzten Jahren gehabt haben. Ich glaube, es gibt kaum eine Aktie, die wirklich so abgegangen ist wie diese und es gibt aber auch sehr, sehr gute Gründe dafür. Ich meine, die Aktie ist bei 6 Cent gestanden am Jahresanfang, jetzt sind wir irgendwo bei 32, 33. Das Unternehmen hat jetzt vor ein paar Tagen eine Finanzierung von 35 Millionen bekannt gegeben. Und Garth Braun, ich meine, der Name sagt es ja schon, ist ja deutscher Abstammung, dementsprechend geht er auch strukturiert vor. Und was mir jetzt in den letzten Minuten eigentlich erzählt hat, lässt darauf schließen, dass eigentlich die Story noch nicht vorbei ist, sondern eigentlich erst am Anfang. Aber lassen wir lieber Garth selber erzählen, was er so vorhat und was vor allem auch in den letzten Monaten passiert ist. Garth, thank you have time for me.
Guten Tag.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. Last time we talked was in June. And since this time, there are some major changes in the company. First, you're coming up with a new, really big package, a land package. And second, 2-3 days ago, you announced a big financing deal. So, what are you doing with all the land and all the money?
Thank you, Joe, for coming and speaking to me. What we're doing with the land, I think one of the things our investors need to understand is that Blackbird needs to capture a large land base to become interesting enough that a company that would basically process our gas would see us as being very relevant. And one of the goals I had from when we began to map out this corridor and say we wanted to build a large land position. Here we depict that we have 37 sections. In another slide, we actually show that we have 117 sections. The goal was to build the land package so large that actually a company would want to build a facility to process our gas, and we could represent probably somewhere around 25 to 35% of their whole processing requirement. That's what I'm doing with my land package. You're correct. I also raised $37 million. The focus of that capital is for us to begin to delineate on our lands the Montney, the upper and the middle. Our very first well will be a middle Montney well right here. I'll have another slide that we can talk about. That well will be over 2,000 meters horizontal. And what I can say also is all of these marks on this map here are wells that have been drilled over the last 2 years in the Montney and have been very successful. As they're coming closer to Blackbird's lands, the liquid component, the oil, 42 API oil, or the condensate, which is up at 52 to 54 API, has been increasing. So the economics of these wells, as the liquids get higher, become more profitable. Mm-hmm. The payback on the cost of the well occurs quicker. Instead of 2 years, it'll be under a year. Mm-hmm. So those economics and the net present value of the wells increases dramatically. And what I can point out is so with the capital, we're going to at minimum drill 3 wells, possibly 4 wells. We will also build a battery. Why do we need a battery? A battery is when we produce this gas, it comes up so liquid rich at probably in excess of 55% liquids. We need to knock those liquids, take them out of the gas, and ship them separately. The pipelines can't accept that rich a gas. The battery will take up to 6,000 barrels a day. We will build it. And this actually will allow us not only to process ours, but other companies that have land in this area will not be able to afford this battery because they have too small a land package. We will use this battery to go out and seek to acquire those to bring them into our portfolio. So you'll see us through our drilling and the construction of the battery, try to even make our land base bigger in this area.
Coming up to some successes there are here around. So you're here in this area, but here is a well, or here's a well with 1,000.
Yes.
1,100 barrels. You have here 1,300 barrels, and here you have. There is not really numbers out, but you know that here is also a huge barrel. So it looks like that the risk here between of that you can find nothing is really low.
Yes.
It's a development, not a wildcat, it's a development.
Exactly. I want your investors to understand the Montney in this area, this is a formation. Okay? And some of you investors may look at oil and gas exploration as, okay, what if the structure isn't there? What if the oil is not captured? What I want to explain is the difference between a resource play and a conventional play. The Montney through this corridor right here is what we classify as a resource play, where the cap, the Montney top, is actually a seal that holds the gas and the oil. Within the Montney, which is over 204 meters thick, 204 meters. So go look out your building and go and look at a building that's maybe 60 stories high. That could be a building that is the size of the Montney package we have here. The oil and the gas is actually created within this formation. So we see 204 meters of fully charged formation. It's not a trap, so we have to capture it because the seal is already at the top. So in this area, 5 miles to the west of us, Encana, one of the largest oil and gas companies in the world, one of the biggest in Canada, has drilled now 4 wells just 5 miles away from us. This well was the breakout well in February that came on at a condensate gas ratio of 204 barrels of liquids per million feet of gas. Now it produces 1,100 BOE per day, but in excess of 564 barrels of condensate. This well can pay back well under a year. Extremely good economics. So the net present value will be high, probably around $10 million for this well. And what we call recycle ratio, this well will pay back what we're expecting numerous times, possibly in excess of 4 to 5 times. And what we also call the velocity of capital, the speed in which the well pays back so that we can redeploy, is extremely high. Now what's interesting, as they move towards Blackbird, and this green area is a model that Blackbird's geology team created. We believe that as we moved into this area, the liquids go up substantially higher. Well, 2 miles further west, Encana drilled a well. It's a very, very productive well, but it has very, very low liquids, only 200 barrels per million. As they moved into this, what we call the liquid-rich zone, the Montney formation moves up slightly. It's higher up. It's less hot there. And as a result, the heat from the earth did not cook the liquids off. So it's present there. And in essence, as they move 2 miles closer to us, the liquids increase substantially. Now up here, that's an upper Montney well. This is a middle Montney well, and this is a middle Montney well. What we know is this well from Encana is producing 1,310 BOE per day, and on a condensate gas ratio is at 97.1 barrels of liquids per million feet of gas. What we do know is this is non-public information from a private company, but what we understand is that that well is producing at 2,350 BOE per day on a production test, 6 million feet of gas, 800 barrels of a 42 API oil, and 600 barrels of NGLs. This is a ratio of about 233 barrels per million feet of gas. Very productive. What can we see though? We see that through here, this is the middle Montney. Unless there's a donut hole in the middle of the Montney, the middle goes all the way through. Now why can I be even more confident? Within our land and around our land, we have 23 wells that have been drilled through the Montney, identifying the Montney through this area, but at the time they did those drills, technology didn't exist to go horizontal. This technology really has been developed over the last 4 years, really in the last 2 years for this area specifically, and that's what's allowing us to access the Montney and be able to extract the oil and the gas.
2 more questions about this. First is with the Big Stone experience we know that people are really important, and it's very important that you have the right guy to drill this and make the right completion. You make an announcement that you have a new board member or a new director. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about him, and he is now the director of or the vice president of completion.
Yes.
Please explain a little bit why this guy gonna come on board.
Well, thank you, Joe. In fact, we've actually announced the role of 3 new individuals over the last month. The fellow you're referring to is Randy Schmatz. He's actually another good German. And Randy was very experienced. He's drilled over 351 Montney wells and other types of wells in this area. He was the director of drilling for a company called Progress Energy, which got bought by Petronas. This was just over in this area, just to the west of our lands. And Randy administered a drilling budget of $120 to $240 million a year. He is an expert on drilling and completion. And you are 100% correct. Now that we, Blackbird, are the operator, I did not want to have that we go out with somebody that did not have extensive knowledge of drilling and completions. In addition, I brought on another top geologist right from this company right up here that just got bought. Capio Exploration was bought by a company called Kelt. When that company was bought, Craig Wiebe, yes, another German, came to join me and now is one of my geologists working on this project. Craig has been in this area operating for over 20 years, working on the Montney. Very, very knowledgeable geologist in regards to drilling and completing in the Montney as well, understands the geology extremely well. And the last person that I've added to my company is a fellow named Kevin Andrews. Kevin is one of the PMs or portfolio managers for a company called GMT Capital. I think you can do your own due diligence, but mine has said that they manage over $5 billion. And we brought Kevin post this financing on board. So what we've done is not only enhance our geological team, and our financial team through GMT Capital of Kevin Andrews coming on board, but Randy Schmatz is the fellow that deploys our capital into ground. Mm-hmm. Now, I can also say is that in this area, there have been over 130 Montney wells that have been drilled over the last 2 years, and there have been no failed completions noted. So the technology towards completing wells and drilling it has improved substantially, so the risk has gone down. The other thing is this. We've raised capital to be able to facilitate at least a 3-well program. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we're not betting on one well to be successful.
And this is my last biggest question is when you can start with drilling.
Our plan is that we'll commence drilling in November. Okay. Our very first well will be drilled right here. It'll be a middle Montney well. Total length will be right around 4,300 to 4,400 meters in length, 2,000 meters horizontal, and it'll be focused on the middle Montney. Mm-hmm. Okay. Post that, we will move to the east and drill another middle Montney location in this area. And then we will return either to this location to drill an upper or a middle Montney at that point. And what we'll be doing is delineating across our licenses the middle and possibly the upper Montney. Mm-hmm. So if you talk to me about utility of capital, the last time I came to the market, it was over a year ago, almost a year ago. I raised $3,087,000, and the value achievement off of that was building a massive land acreage. This capital raise of $37 million is not just focused on building more land, but now it's to delineate and de-risk the resource. Mm-hmm. So my expectation is when I raised the last time, my market cap was around 6 to 8 million. We appreciated to a 70 million market cap from that raise of accumulating land. Now we expect with this capital raise, through delineation and de-risking, to achieve greater value again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Garth, thank you for the update. Ich glaube, es kommt jetzt einiges auf uns zu. Ich meine, das Wichtigste ist ja wirklich, dass das Risiko, das sieht man vor allem natürlich an den Bohrlöchern, deutlich nach unten gegangen ist. Und es ist unwahrscheinlich, dass da dazwischen im Prinzip nichts ist. Und auch die Leute, die er engagiert hat, ist extrem wichtig, dass die natürlich ein großes Know-how haben. Das war mein größtes Problem, nämlich, oder die größte Angst, weil so ein Bohrloch kostet heute fast 10 Millionen Dollar. Das heißt, er braucht auch dieses Geld, damit er das Bohrloch bohren kann und die Bohrlöcher bohren kann. Und es kann halt immer passieren, dass halt irgendwas schief geht. Aber alleine, dass 130 Bohrlöcher in diesem Gebiet derzeit gebohrt worden sind, bis jetzt in den letzten 2 Jahren kein einziges davon eigentlich nicht funktioniert hat, ist schon fast eine Garantie dafür, dass auch das nächste Bohrloch oder dass die Bohrlöcher, die Blackbird bohren wird, funktionieren werden. Deswegen ist ist so wichtig für mich, dass die richtigen Leute an Bord sind, dass die richtigen Leute das Ganze bohren. Und wie er schon sagt, das letzte Financing im letzten Jahr hat dazu gegolten, dass er Land akquiriert. Jetzt will er es eigentlich bohren. Er will das Risiko natürlich nach unten bringen. Es ist für meines Erachtens mehr ein Development Play und kein Wildcat Play. Das heißt, es ist einfach jetzt, man weiß, dass eigentlich Öl dort ist und man muss dementsprechend das jetzt nur mehr rausbohren. Er hat ja auch gesagt in dem Interview, es existieren schon 23 Bohrlöcher, die aber mit der herkömmlichen Technologie gebohrt worden sind. Damals war es noch gar nicht möglich, horizontal geboren. Sie haben diese Formation auch gefunden, das weiß man, aber sie haben sie damals nicht bohren können und damals war es auch nicht wirtschaftlich. Ich glaube, es kommt was Großes auf uns zu. Wir sind jetzt noch lange nicht am Ende der Story und ich muss ehrlicherweise sagen, ich bin heilfroh, dass ich Aktionär davon bin. Das wollte ich eigentlich jetzt noch sagen. Es ist ja ein Conflict of Interest, denn ich bin ein großer Aktionär von Blackbird. Ich kann auch ehrlicherweise sagen, es ist meine größte Position und ich vermisse oder ich bereue kein Stück davon. Garth, thank you for your time and good luck with the drilling. And I'm quite sure next time in January, hopefully, we can say, okay, we found this and we're going forward from this.
Ja, danke schön und auf Wiedersehen.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.